Now, there may be an option from another unit that's not available here. Certain units just cannot get certain options. For instance, I do not believe if you go to just quickly, I do not believe that where is it? Oh, my mistake. Right here. I do not believe that the SS Panzer Pioneer Company has available to them the flame half-tracks. So that's one unit that this army cannot take. Now, just because they can't take the flame half-tracks here doesn't mean this army is going to be any weaker. It's just historically that unit, Panzer Pioneer companies, did not take those. So the book's laid out in a way that it maintains historical accuracy, and it eliminates things like kind of like a power gaming. So if it wasn't available to them in the war, it's not available to you in the game. It's just something that they've fixed into the armies that just sort of sways people away from being able to take whatever they want in whatever unit they want. It also prevents you from using special rules of one army with the best units of another. So I do like that. In the book as well, I mentioned before that you're going to have your stats available. Here is some stats for the SS. It's broken into the tanks. It's broken into the assault guns. It's broken into the infantry. It's broken into artillery, anti-aircraft, armored cars, vehicle machine guns, as well as all your infantry options. And I'll get more into those in a later video. I don't want to give away all the stats that are in the book because I think that you will have to own it. I could read them all off, but it's not going to help you at all. And it's not really what I'm all about. I'm not trying to reveal everything that's in the book. I'm trying to give you a guideline of what is in the book and how to use them. So just flipping ahead, this is still more. These are gun teams, and then here's transport teams, and then here's all your armored personnel carriers. So that's a ton of stats. So these are more than just source books. These are reference guides. You are going to be flipping through here all the time. Eventually you'll start learning them off the top of your head, but if you face a new opponent that uses something you don't have because it's not in your army, then you'll have this. There's no secrets. I can flip to this book and know, okay, yes, this is what you have. This is what I'm looking for. I got to watch out because this has got a huge gun, or I got to watch out because this has got tough armor, and I need to be aware of that stat. And the good thing about this is the stuff that's in this book may help you for somebody who has a different army than you. So a pack, say a pack 40 in this book is going to have the same stats as pack 40 in another book. So you don't need to go out and buy another book because he's fielding a force out of another book. You have the stats in your book that can help you face that opponent. So that's kind of cool that there's a lot of overlap. It doesn't change from book to book, so again, that prevents you from having to buy every book. They do have these cool things where the painting guides gives you some just some reference, as well as references to the colors that they use to paint these. So that's a nice feature. There's always some special characters. So this is Ernest Barkman. He's one of my favorite characters to use. And these are based on real characters. I'm actually reading a book based on Barkman's armored engagements, which is really interesting. Again, a piece of paper. Here's a U.S. Special character. And the books are always divided. It doesn't go German, U.S., German, U.S. It's usually, or Axis, Allies. It goes an Allied section, then an Axis, or vice versa. So it's just, and it always gives you a battle or a scenario that you can play as well. So in addition to the scenarios that are in the book, it gives you a couple nice options, and they're always relevant to this source book. So that was actually during July to August 1944, during Operation Cobra, involving the SS and the U.S. forces. Again, just paper reference. So here's getting into Hell on Wheels. This is the U.S. forces. Again, gives you some tactics, gives you some background, gives you some special rules, and then it goes into the force organizations of the U.S. And they're laid out very similar to the German. Of course, with different vehicles and different stats. but it's still laid out with your HQ, your mandatory combat platoons, then your weapon options, and then your divisional support. And again, it'll give you, this is a case where you have the 2nd Armored and the 3rd Armored. So only the 2nd Armored can take this option, only the 3rd can take this. And one interesting note too is I mentioned before about the motivation and skill. For the 2nd, you're going to take as Confident Veteran. If you play the 3rd, you're going to play them as Confident Trained. Now the lower the skill level, the cheaper the points. That's something to keep in mind. A lot of people will think that they need to play the most elite of the elite, but just keep in mind that you're going to be paying the higher of the point values. So sometimes it's worth going with a little less skilled, a little less motivated force to take units that are a little cheaper on points. You get a little more on the table. There's two schools of thoughts on that. A lot of people will say more units, a little less skilled. Some people will say fewer units, more skilled. So I'll leave that up to you to decide, but that's certainly something to be aware of in the books. So again, I'll just quickly flip through. Great artwork here. Lots of units to choose from. Same organization. And what I do like about the source books, they're all laid out the exact same. You're not getting surprises when you get a book. The stats are going to be in the same spot, more or less. You're going to get a scenario, you're going to get some special characters, you're going to get some unit formations, you know you're going to get some axes, you know you're going to get some allies. No surprises, but good information. And then again, just some stuff at the back, another scenario in this case. This one here has a lot to do with the Bokash hedgerows, so it's got a little information on the Bokash. And just giving a flip right to the back again, and then you get the nice U.S. painting uniforms again with the colors, again with a nice color scheme. And I like the enlarged photo because it really gives you the detail of the camo, which is sometimes can be hard to achieve, and you don't have to go looking for additional source information. It's right here. And this one happens to have a Tiger versus Sherman, and it's just a tactics thing. So it was kind of interesting to just to see. This is again based on historical information, so I think the standing joke was it took on average 6 Shermans versus Panther, or 6 Shermans versus a Tiger. The good thing was the Americans had 7, so they always seemed to have a little more, even though their losses were quite high. The Americans just never seemed to exhaust their resources like the Germans did. So, and that has to do a lot with this diagram at the back. So, just talking about engaging distance. So, this is just a piece of information that good, fun read, and just like a lot of the information in here. So, that's the source book there. I can show you a few other source books, but like I said, it's going to be much of the same information. So, please. After you've picked up your rule book and you've given that a read and you've decided kind of what force you'd like to go for, then you can start looking at source books. If you're having difficulty, check out the Battlefront site. If you can't seem to find what you're looking for there, you can always give me an email. So I'll talk to you guys later, and that's the source book. Next up will be a rundown of actually how to create an army out of the source book, and I'll use this one just because I've already given you a run through. So cheers.